So hi and welcome. For me, this is one of the most exciting sessions. I say it for a few of them. It's also very informative for all of you who seek distribution platforms other than the box office and the various traditional platforms. This session is probably about what a new age cinema paradiso might be made of. Heavily inspired by John Abraham of Amma Aryan and his iconic traveling cinema, the Odessa Collective is this amazing group of young filmmakers who are out here with us today, reaching their films out there, very organically, very physically, all on their own. So we'll go on these interesting journeys. They'll take us through them. We have Sandeep Mohan, filmmaker, producer. Would you join us? He's made Hola Venki and he has traveled with it. He'll tell you himself where. Well, you become a producer when you do something like that. I correct myself. He's the filmmaker of Hola Venki. We have Vivek Paul, co-founder and CEO of Real Monk. Sanal Sasidharan, Secretary Cinema Vandi of Kasha Film Society and filmmaker. And talking to these exciting young men is Ruhan Sippy. Can I add traditional filmmaker, distributor, producer? Thank you. Over to you, Rohan.
Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Very exciting stories on how storytellers can get their stories out to an audience, which is the most exciting thing. Finally, in a more and more interconnected world, more and more complicated ways of finally doing things. It's nice to hear stories from guys who've first made those stories possible and then accepted or not accepted that they can't reach an audience and found different ways of doing it. So I'll ask Sandeep to actually start. He can maybe just give us a couple of words about the trailers that he's going to show, and then we'll talk about it in a little bit of detail.
Hi, thanks for coming. And I made a couple of independent feature films. One is, first film was called Love Wrinkle Free, so maybe I can show a trailer of that, because I don't think anyone has seen it beyond my family and friends. So maybe I'll just use the opportunity.
What business is it you are in?
Underwear. But I'm hoping to get into edible lingerie.
What?
Lingerie you can eat.
Me?
Anyone can eat.
Papa, I need some money.
How much money can I give you on the day that you are born? She wants some money, money.
Even if 5% of the people who come to Goa buy this, just like they buy penny and cashews, think about the numbers.
I'm tired of running the restaurant all alone.
The restaurant business is not my higher calling.
Oh, and selling bloody underwear is your higher calling?
Sashi, you think I look like you? Tibetan?
I'm pregnant? Oh my God. Sabu, it's a miracle.
Madonna was 42 when she had her child.
When Madonna got pregnant.
Not that Madonna, man.
Oh my God. You are untapped talent, Savio. I heard about the choir thing. They want me to leave. Father Varghese thinks my voice is getting older.
I've seen him looking at dirty, skimpy pictures of women.
Ridiculous, sir. He's a bloody liar, sir.
We want to gift you a younger sibling.
Couldn't you use a condom or something?
Can you send me a sample of those sweet panties?
There is Portuguese in my heart, in my blood, in my kidneys, everywhere, man. My bloody son falls in love with a pregnant woman. On top of that, my client's wife. These things happen. The 21st century, got to be cool.
Yeah.
Today I leak on you. Tomorrow I curse, so the world will shit on you, man. Hey! Let a man leak in peace, no pass it! Ted, what are you doing? Hey! Come back, man!
So this was the first film?
Yeah, this is Love Wrinkle Free, and this is made for, in 2012, it had a PVR Director's Rare release, theatrical. But I didn't have very pleasant experiences. I got an adult certification. I know edible lingerie is there,
And
but
so
come
this
on.
is the film that you didn't take beyond the theatrical...
Yeah, it
Right.
had a theatrical and kind of a conventional in that sense for an independent film. But I
Right.
was new. I didn't know anyone, and even now I don't know anyone. But yeah, at that point I didn't know even me. So now I know me, and I've kind of figured I should do a smaller budget film. This is kind of 60 lakh. I wasted some money. Could I show the second trailer, which is a smaller trailer, which is Ola Venki, which I made for 10 lakhs with a 3-member crew. Could I play that trailer?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I mostly live in the brain, but sometimes I get confused between the groin and the brain.
How do you get confused between the groin and the brain? I mean, they're that far apart.
अबे उठ यार
ओए उठ वेंकी उठ
अबे वेंकी साले तेरी नींद में बात करने की आदत नहीं गई अभी तक
उठ जा बॉस उठ जा Life isn't that complicated. I mean, you tech guys tend to overthink and then just make too much trouble for yourselves.
Why didn't it work out between you and your ex-wife?
It's a long story.
Look, after marriage, there's nothing like your sperm and my sperm.
It is our family sperm.
Flower meditation.
I know it sounds crazy, but I look at it as God.
What kind of crazy shit are you into, man?
You're Catholic, man. You're not gonna get it.
But all this is happening so suddenly.
क्योंकि suddenly तो सब कुछ होता है.
2 to 3% of his organ is missing.
What? 2%? What is this 2%? Huh?
It's 2% of my.
God is a serious word to use for a body part. Don't you think?
Do you know I'm not able to even walk properly or sleep properly the last how many days?
Don't be childish. You need more than a penis to be a man in the 21st century.
Is he from Pakistan like you?
From India.
India? With an I or an E?
Venky.
That's what I've done. And I have some pictures of traveling. I've taken this movie on a traveling thing.
Talk a little bit. So you did the first film. So just talk a little bit more about how you felt after it, so we understand what got you into the second one and what your thinking was to how to reach an audience
I know
now.
it's NFDZ and stuff. But I love Wrinkle Free. I didn't. I had a difficult experience with censor in the sense 2012. I got adult, and I think it's Love Wrinkle
That's
Free.
another thing we'll come back to. Is this censor issue is again a thing that probably is something you can avoid when you take alternative routes, which is creatively a very, very huge liberation to have, right? You don't have to...
For Ola Venki, I didn't. I still don't have a censor. I haven't taken censor because the whole idea of making a 10 lakh kind of film with a 3-member crew was an experiment whether I can survive doing the things which I want to do. I write my script. I do even distribution. I travel with the movie and kind of show the movie around in alternative spaces. I don't charge them, so pay as you wish. So Love Wrinkle Free experience led me to this because I kind of figured lots of things are placed against you. I mean, here this system doesn't let you do what you want to do. There are a lot of people who come out and tell you what to do, how to do. So I'm rather very, very, very independent about the way I go about things, and maybe this is what I might do in future too. Maybe I don't know.
Sure. So we'll just have a look now a little bit at how you distributed it, how you got it to people with the
some
photographs
pictures from the screenings, the traveling cinema screenings.
So you finished this film when? Was it ready to...
2014. 2014 is when I traveled.
And the screening started in 2014?
Sorry, 2014 I traveled. 2013 I finished it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the PPT.
So we'll just see a couple of the photographs of
so few pictures,
the screenings.
Yeah. These are all mobile pictures which audience has taken, so I don't have many pictures of screening myself. Yeah, so that's me. A lot of pictures of me. So I'll talk when the places come. This is like, I believe any place can be, even this place is the theater right now. I have a screen, I have a dedicated audience, I can show my movie here actually. So this is in Delhi, Pune, lots of awesome places around the country. Chennai. So I did the screening in 92 alternative spaces around the world. I mean, US and Singapore too. Wherever I had friends, Facebook friends, friends I don't know. I made a lot of new friends too along the way. So I'll keep on going fast. Tampa in Florida, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, again Delhi. So I'll just keep going fast because I'll just stop if somebody has something.
So you did about 90 odd screenings?
I did 92
so
screenings. I'm done with it. I finished my next film too, so I'm done with Ola Venki. But I use Facebook a lot, and I used to create my own ads. I used to be a copywriter earlier, so my ads are not that good. But I just used to do whatever I felt like to promote my film. Whatever can come. Even my shoes, I used to just, I didn't know what to talk about, beyond a point. Because it was quite exhausting, but it was, looking back, good fun.
So did you created the Great Indian Traveling Cinema as just a brand for the way you were showing this film, or will now continue with all the films you're doing?
See, you've got to call it something. I can't call it Rajesh Suresh. So I just thought the Great Indian Traveling Cinema sounded good. Maybe for future also, it's got a big feel to it. Maybe I should continue with that. So this is the kind of place I've showed. I showed in pubs, many pubs, restaurants, cafes, converted into offices of corporate offices.
And so how was all this funded, the travel, the screening?
So I used to take a bus or a train and go low cost.
To Tampa?
Tampa was, no, in fact, Tampa got covered by itself because 10 cities in US I traveled with all of them. It was cost me around 90,000 for the tickets. I used to go and stay where the screenings were being organized. And they used to come and pick me on the airport and I say, who is this guy on Facebook? Hi. So that's it, got covered because the kind of money I was getting from them there was more than what I was spending.
Paid for your travel and everything.
Paid for my travel and paid more. I could have some fun too. So basement theaters and this is in Minneapolis, New Jersey. So there are a lot of spaces people have which we can keep Pune, Jaipur, co-worker spaces. So yeah, I just go fast. Cooking studios, art galleries. This is a good place in Pune called Lost the Plot. Houses of people, wherever you can remove a couple of paintings and you can screen it there. And I was doing that too. This is special for me because it is fun in LA, daycare center, adult. And this was for me important because I got this person is somewhere here. He was become a producer, Sanjay Gulati. So one of the screenings was he was standing in the lobby in his office and he kind of got on board later on and helped me.
For your next production.
This one as well as I'm potentially for freelancer too. So, you meet people in second floor lobbies also.
So this is the real social networking.
Yeah. So it's so I'll just go fast now. Cities, yeah. Yeah, all this. We did some merchandise also. I sold some t-shirts and stuff. Various ways of making people open up their pockets. And we had a couple of, in San Jose and San Francisco, we had booked the theater and did 4 weekends release and there we got some decent money. So I could pay back the guys who put the money. It's a 10 lakh movie, so we kind of got 7 lakhs from there itself, so it was kind of good. And now I'm trying to see if we can sell it off to some Netflix, Amazon, if somebody it will. And finally, I released it on Vimeo on demand. I opened a Vimeo Pro account and I released it personally online.
On video on demand, on your individual...
on my my site. Then I've taken it out right now because I have to sell it to Netflix or Amazon if possible.
Right.
But yeah, this is what I've done, and this is what it is. And this guy is an interesting director. So that's all you need. You need a wall, a mini projector, and a decent sound system. And this kind of space, if you can give me, I'll do one screening. So this is what it is. I'll come to your space at your convenience and show you my film. You pay me how much ever you want, if you like the movie. So that's the condition. You should like the movie, and you will like it. That's it. Sorry. So that's my new movie, Freelancer. So.
About a freelancer named Shri.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, that's me.
So how, to finish off, you want to just say anything? How it now, the second film and the learnings you've taken into this one as you're now preparing to. You finished shooting, you said.
Yeah, I finished the movie. It's over.
You finished the movie.
Mixing
so now,
is over. Yeah.
So just walk us through what you're thinking as you go. Now get
So this is a backup plan for me in life. In worst case scenario, like I can write a script, I can get the funds through crowdfunding and other sources which I've raised my funds, and through friends and friends of friends, alumni and stuff. And I keep my budget very low. And then if a theatrical I don't get, and if see that's the only stage in the independent filmmaking process I'm forced to meet the industry guys, so-called. So there, I mean, it takes a lot of time, and I'm an impatient guy. I want to do things fast. So the worst case, if it doesn't happen, if the budget of the movie is low, I can do the screening and meet my own audience right there, you know, and I can create a small base for my kind of films, you know, which are engaging films. And I'm not very art house. I try to make sensible comedies, so to say, you know, so good for this kind of urban spaces. Yeah, so I might do it again, you know, I want to keep it open. I might do it with sponsors this time if somebody comes on board, you know. So when I was doing this, I didn't have anyone I couldn't sell it because I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just on a trip.
Right.
Right. Even now I'm on a trip, but I don't know what I'm talking about too.
Yeah. So, but you see it as something you can sustain going forward. That's the final, I think.
You can. I'm happy doing what I make a movie, I can show it to my audience, and a lot of people who came to watch it. You know, in fact, more than Love Wrinkle Free. Love Wrinkle Free released through PVR Directors Rare. I mean, theatrically and stuff. So 60 people would come and see in a theater, and I would go and sit in a 400-seater, and still the movie goes out in 2-3 weeks, right?
Right.
Here 60 people come to cafes, a house full. So I was extremely happy, 60, 50, like I want a house full, you know. So it's how you see it, right? And plus they pay you money, and I actually start seeing money, you know, cash, which otherwise you don't see, you know. Yeah. So I used to open my bag. No, I mean, seriously, you know, in the sense I
think
open
that's
my bag.
the really interesting thing. There's no one between you and the person who's enjoying the film. So if they like it, they can give the money directly to you.
Directly to, initially I used to open my bag and say, put the money, so it had a nice charm to it. But later on, in US and stuff, it's not a convenient thing. So I started giving the envelopes. I say, write your name. You know, it's much more sophisticated to do that way. Because, you know, there's a way of doing it in US, I guess. So they started paying me more money. So in dollars and stuff. So that really worked out better. Now I have ideas to how to ask for money shamelessly. But you can't be just...
the most important thing to learn in this business.
Yeah, reasonably well-dressed and be nice. Appeal to the good side in you, you know. Please give me money, I'm a nice guy, I'll make a good movie. It'll make you, you know, happy.
Great. Well, thanks. We're going to keep chatting. So now I'd like to talk to Sanal and ask him to share his story. He can only share the starting point of it. He told me he started off as a lawyer. So I think I'm as fascinated to know, I think as everyone would be, to know your journey and how you've created the community you have today.
Hi. Actually, as you said, I was a lawyer and I quit it for my passion for film. In 2001, I made a short film, and for that I established a film society with my friends, Karcha Film Forum. And after making that short film, we were stuck up what to do and where to sell, and actually it is completely stopped. That film society is completely stopped. For about 8 years, it was almost dead. And in 2008, again somebody came and they supported me to make another short film. In 2012, the same thing happened. And there was a lot of intermittent silence. And in 2012, I made a short film named Frog, and that got some award. And people saw it, and people say, okay, why you are not making a film? We will support you and all. So in 2013, I made a film, feature film, Oral Pokam, and it was a crowdfunded movie, and it was made for 25 lakhs. Actually, my idea was to make a film without thinking about the market. What is the possibility to sell? I wanted a film of my kind, what I like, what I like. And once it is finished, then the same thing happened. You will stuck that nothing to do, then there is no market. Actually, there is no producers also, because a lot of producers, one or two will be there, and one chief supporter is here, Ms. Matthew, Shaji Matthew. And after that, after making this film, I was very desperate that there is no place to show my film, no place to sell it, and how to recover this money. And people have, invested in, and they supported me only on my believing that I will be very keen on that.
So did it go into cinemas?
No.
It didn't, in the first, after making it, it wasn't released theatrically?
It released after that. Okay. It got some award. I got the Best Director award for that film in Kerala, and we got FIPRESI award in IFFK. But even then, nobody won that, because you have no star that...
Exhibitors were not keen to show the film.
So I thought, what is the remedy for this? What we will do? Then, actually, as Anupama rightly said, there is a master for us in Kerala. There was John Abraham. He did the same thing. He made the film crowdfunded, and he took the film out to the people. And then people saw the film, they donated money and all. So I thought, why we can't do that? Because we are in a more sophisticated...
more communication, more networks.
It is easy because Facebook is there. So many online platforms are there. We can communicate to people. And advertising is easy. Press is supporting. And even the projection facilities are also become handy. So we purchased a cab, a van, and named it as the Cinema Vandi, Cinema Cab. So it became a brand. And we went to villages with the film, and we conducted around 100 screenings. And it became a very successful moment, because...
Again, these were free screenings?
No. That was the basic idea, that everybody wanted films, but they want to see it for free. In Kerala, there is around 85 film society, very active film societies are there in Kerala. But when we approach them, okay, we have a film, you please screen it. Then they say, okay, we will screen it, but you give us for free. That is not possible, because we spend money. 25 lakhs is not a small amount. No, you can make 5 homes for poor people, and you made a film and you are giving it for free. It is a sin, I think. So I said, no, it is not possible. Then I contacted these small groups in every village, every towns, and we said, we are coming to you with the film, with the projector, with sound system, and you arrange a small place, and we will screen it for people, and if they like, let them contribute. And it became a success. And I have a video, I think it is time to...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Actually, it was not invented as a medium for selling. We planned it as a medium for attracting people to this kind of movie. They need to know that there is this kind of movie also produced in Kerala. There are so many films happening. For the last 5 years, so many of such films, independent films are happening, but theaters were not accepting these films and televisions are not taking, and there is no way to screen the films. That is why we thought people should know. That is why we thought, okay, we need to screen it every possible place we get. And even maybe some open space with a big wall, we paint it and we screen it. And when people see the film, that 1 or 2 frames, they may be seeing for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but they keep coming back to us. We want to see the movie. And later on, the film got some award, and we released in theaters. So it ran for 2 weeks. And when I made my second film, Ozhivu Divasattekali, it was in theater for 25 days. So I think it is keep growing. And the most significant thing is that...
Sorry, just for the second film, you did this as well, or you went straight for a theatrical...
Yeah, second film I went straight to the theaters because I wanted to increase the audience base, and I don't want to stick on to this medium only. But at the same time, we made another film. We screened another film through this medium on Don Palatra. He was also part of this movement. He made a movement.
Another director directed a film, and you distributed it or exhibited it.
The same thing, and this will be going on.
This is on right now. Those screenings.
The project is there. So this is my story.
So unlike Sandeep, you had to censor both the films.
I censored.
Because you played them in cinemas, whereas as of now, I mean, if Sandeep continues this way, you're not...
The second film. First film had a censor. So I have
but
experience being in the board
of
office and stuff.
So I just think that's interesting from a creative point of view, that it completely opens up a canvas that you have to otherwise self-censor in your head when you're writing something, when you know that you are going to go through the censor board. It's a different thing as opposed to not having that.
That's different area, actually.
Yeah. Like how much love making to keep. While writing it, like she can kiss, but not more than that. So in freelancer, played safe. Use protection.
Great. So I'm just going to get Vivek now into this discussion. Now, we've spoken to 2 filmmakers. Vivek he's created a business out of distributing films for people who are looking and physically cannot be at that place the way these guys have initially done. So
I'll give a quick brief about the platform. So Reelbong as a platform helps content aggregators to monetize on the content. So end of the day, what we try to do is to reach out to the maximum audience of people who are really into independent films. The biggest challenge that they face is to get theatrical space. And if the moment a commercial film gets in, they immediately gets taken off. So what we enable is, without too much selective process, we put up the content on the platform without any cost, and they can set the cost at which they want to distribute the content, which is usually 180 and 300 rupees if it's a new film. And then there's a revenue share agreement that we signed with the content holder. So then we give them a live dashboard to track how many downloads are happening and from which places. And so the advantage that we have is that since it's a community of followers, that's usually the director has. So they promote it with them. They probably share, like, let's say with the case of Urdu Se Kali, when we released on a platform, we kept it live for like 5 days. But Sanil had done a remarkable job in marketing the movie, that even like there was a group in Australia who actually brought in about 30 people to watch it at the venue. Like they created a venue to watch the movie. So to create and reach out to the audience across the world is what Reelbong aims at. And we started about a year back. We started with 4 movies, and it's all been in Malayalam so far, but we're planning to scale up to other languages soon. So we have a collection of 105 movies right now. The last one we did was Mandro Island. Then, so we've done about 6 same-day releases. That's while they hit theaters in Kerala, we release it outside using our platform. And the advantage that we have is that the content is piracy protected. So exclusivity of content is something that is really required if you actually want to make someone pay for content. The fact that it's only available here is something will be a driving factor. So that's something of an assurity that we try to give to the content holder, that they can distribute without losing their exclusivity. And it's also a non-exclusive agreement that we sign because we want to be a platform.
Great. So I think we're running a little bit short on time, so I just want to open up for any questions and just keep this conversation going.
It's very encouraging, obviously, to see these platforms opening up. But what marketing strategy do you have from your platform point of view? That how would people know that there is a platform? I mean, as filmmakers, we can always do our own share of marketing. But from your point of view, what plans do you have?
Right. So what we've, based on our experience, what's worked out well and what's the cheapest form of marketing is actually Facebook or like social media right now, right? So especially if you look at, I'll take the case of Urdu Se Kali again. Like Sanil's got a huge following on Facebook. One post from his side is enough to bring in a lot of audience to the platform. So similarly, you can use small Facebook ads also to boost based on the locations that you want to boost. So social media has helped a lot in bringing people to our platform. So I think that's also, I think, something that every filmmaker should try to do. You know, utilize social media a lot, especially create a Facebook page for your movie. Start it from scratch. Like when you start the project, keep them involved, keep building the hype. So that's something I think everyone should take advantage. And since it's a rev share, for that matter, it's a teamwork. Essentially, the team and the movie has to sell at the end of the day. So I think that's what's worked for us so far. Since we are also bootstrapped, end of the day, we are a startup. So that's what's worked us. I hope I answered the question.
My question is for the filmmakers. I just want to get a sense of, you put in this time and effort into making your films, and just to understand, did you keep track of what it would cost you to get your films out in these unique individual platforms that you did for each of your projects? So Sandeep, you traveled to 90 cities in India, and Sana, you went also all over Kerala. So do you guys have an idea how much that cost and how it compared to your movie budgets? Like, was it equivalent?
So you're asking, the marketing cost in that sense, the exhibition cost.
The indie distribution
if the film cost 10 lakhs, how much did it cost to get it to
that's
people?
An additional cost, naturally, because 10 lakhs is for finishing the movie. I mean, and then the cost of traveling is different, because like screenings.
She's asking, I think the sense I get is it like a fraction of what you spend, or is it like a lot more as it goes on?
It won't be much. It depends on how you are. Like, if you would like to travel in a flight, I'm not very comfortable traveling.
How you did it?
Yeah, so I did, because I figured it's going to cost me. I won't get that kind of money in screenings. Like, it's difficult to get people to pay money, right? I mean, we know it. How if today, right now, I just pass my bag around, which I'm planning to do. So I'm sure half the crowd will go. So that's how it is. So maybe 2-3 lakhs. Because I went to US also, 10 cities, so that cost me close to 90,000 a lakh. But then I kind of made more than that from there. But India screenings were all train and bus. Like if I go to Bangalore, I'll go to Coimbatore from there. I'll take to Pondicherry, Auroville. I was doing that, the bus journey, so it didn't cost me that much. So it's a fraction of maybe, it's not that expensive if you do that route, because it's a physically exhausting thing. I agree, but then that comes with the territory, because you're getting so much of freedom to do this. Otherwise, you don't have it. And maybe it's a one-off thing, but let me see whether I can push it and get sponsors for traveling and make my trip presence Great Indian Traveling Cinema. Or somebody else, I don't know, some other trip.
And Sanil, you had obviously invested in the cab and the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
For me, it is actually not profitable in terms of money, because it is a fight. Actually, there is no opening for these kind of films and the filmmakers. So we need to open up. So we need to break some barriers. So it is very, if you consider this manpower and the time we invested, the interest we invested, then it is nowhere. What we gain, it is nowhere. But what we gained is an audience support, that growing audience interest in this kind of films, and what we see when it is released in theaters. So I think it is altogether it is positive. And if you consider it in terms of money, then I think it is a pathetic situation.
I mean, just to add to it, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
I mean, so the audience which I was targeting was also, I mean, not the film festival audience, because a certain kind of people attend film festivals. So let's say IFFI, people who are interested in films. But the IT corporate crowd and the college going, a lot of people out there who certain cafes and bars and pubs. And right now they're sitting there. And I work out of cafes and I see these people and that's my audience. So, that's also, they're sensible people. They're kind of the bright minds and, they're earning good salaries and stuff. So they're bright guys, right? So, and sensible movies, I mean, it's approachable to them.
Probably are not finding the kind of content, your content is mostly English.
English,
Urban
it's a mix in Indian languages. Like if somebody speaks in Kuluvi, they'll speak in Kuluvi. If it's in English. If it's French. So that's India, right? So for me, that's India. I'm a Mallu guy, but my wife is North Indian. So we speak a lot of languages in India, not just Hindi, right? Absolutely. So that's how an Indian movie should be, I feel.
I want to add one more thing. When we say indie films, we need to understand that there is only few audience support. So we can't survive with these kind of small audience group. We need to make the audience support enlarged. So it's also our force. We need to work very hard. This is what is happening in this.
Right, but I guess that's the challenge. I guess this panel is a kind of way to see, is there a way, given all those challenges in the conventional market, are there unconventional ways to make it viable and sustainable? Or is it that you will not be able to continue doing it this way?
No, it is viable. It is viable because if you take this as separate, then and calculate what you earned and what you spend, then it will be negative. But if you consider 2 years altogether, and I released my first film through Cinema Cab, then I went to the theater with the same film, and the second film, I went to the theater right away. And I got a good support, audience support. It was there in the theater for 3 weeks, 25 days almost. And when I released through Real Monk, people rushed to I think they got a good click. So calculating all these things, these 2 years, it is a significant movement, and I think it is profitable.
Also, I feel, I mean, just to add to it again, like certain kind of films, I kind of make middle of the road films. Like it's sensible, I feel, but not extremely mainstream because of the kind of language I have. Because so these kind of films normally don't get into big festivals. It's not a festival kind of movie in that sense. Though I like watching those films, but it's not that kind of film. So I try to reach out to that audience. That's a huge audience there, which is untapped. I feel.
My question to both you guys actually is, I love the fact that it's so individual but now, from the audience point of view, are they happy getting one film every 2 years?
Yeah.
Or is that the other challenge? How do you, now that you've identified this audience, are there other makers that you become collaborators?
So it'll be nice to have a movement and stuff, but I'm focused on expressing what I'm not very in the activism mode in that sense. I have a lot of things to say before I die. And I will go out and do it, and I'll create my audience. And if it helps other people, say Great Indian Traveling Cinema, I haven't registered. It's an idea. I'm not a businessman, but it's an idea. Anybody can take it, travel. I have no issues. I don't want to be, patented, or I don't want to become a millionaire through this. I just want to express my ideas within me. And films help me do it. If you take films away from me, I will be in depression. I don't know what all. Right now, I'm in a good space. So there's a lot of people out there who don't come to festivals, and I want to target them through this and go to their space. And they will open up, if you do it consistently, You should not, I mean, for me, it's not a film club thing. It's a lot of spaces are opening up in India. Like, if you see the youngsters, the behavior, of people, like, it's changing heavily. Like, people prefer to go to a cafe or a pub, just to have a chat. Where do they go and sit in the evenings? Or, where do they go? They go to a mall. And they don't necessarily are sitting in the cinema hall, all of them. Or they are watching something at Netflix at home. So, they do want to go out, but when they go out, give them an experience, make an event. So I used to have a screening, and possibly after that there'll be somebody singing. Make it like an event and make it an interesting evening for them. So.
Oh, we take another question.
I'm Hari Trusi. I'm a filmmaker from Gujarat. Rohan sir, I want to know that what do you think? According to you, is a difference between this mainstream distribution and this non-conventional distribution, because you belong to the mainstream.
Sure. The difference is these guys are recovering their costs. without fancy accounting.
But,
but no, genuinely, I think there are a couple of things. One of the things that on a creative level is very interesting is that now Sandeep, in a sense, is liberated from censorship. You know, I think that is just as a purely as a writer, director, it's very exciting to know that you can put down what you want. That's one thing. And I think it takes a hell of a lot of conviction to, you know, it's one thing to show the slides, but to actually go to 100 venues or 90 cities in the US, India. I think you have to really have that passion, and without that, you can't get anywhere. Maybe in mainstream, there'll be a lot of other people to support you and take it on. But here, I guess, you learn everything about the filmmaking process from the inception of the idea to the way that you are going to bring the audience in. So I think there can be no more fulfilling. It's a different kind of skill set to working with big productions and all, but it's about the temperament. I think someone like Sandeep has a very strong sense of what he wants to do and doesn't need to have those restrictions on him. So it just depends on that. But I think there's some really interesting things. You know, in Bombay, people charge more than 10 lakhs to cut a promo. He's made a film in 10 lakhs. You know, so that's the difference. You know, so I think it's really wonderful. And he's identified a new kind of audience out there. You know, not everyone needs to eat at McDonald's. Someone wants to eat at that unique restaurant. So in cinema, he's giving us that opportunity. Hopefully, there are others who will also do that.
There are two questions for the filmmakers. One, when the public is paying you money by choice, does it come under the entertainment tax? Is it applicable or not? Number two, it might be a private screening or whether it is a public screening. When you show your film in any city or any town, the government permissions or the departmental permissions are required for such kind of screenings or not? Thank you.
I organize private screenings, and it's a pay-as-you-wish thing. So it's a grey area.
Contribution, not
on a donation.
ticket.
I used to tell audience that, you know, if you like the movie, pay me some money so that I can travel to more cities. So I don't know what tax it comes under because I don't know what people are doing to me. So I don't know what area I live in, but I think I'm safe. I won't be arrested. So I'll push it. I'm in the underground space, so I'll push it. I'll see. The day they say, I'll figure out.
Same thing to me, actually. There is no sale in that sense, because we always go to the people and show the film, and we say that you donate. If you like the film, you donate. Then that is government can't do anything because there is no sale happening.
And frankly, even if something if it gets organized, it's good. We are happy if these things get organized, these spaces get some kind of, you know, then we can openly publicize. So none of our screenings were...
The next thing that will come is censorship.
That's an issue. So that's the thing. So this is right now, let's not even talk about it. It'll eventually come, right? So, yeah.
There's a question here.
Yeah, hi, my name is Taranjeet, and I actually wanted to touch upon the point of promotion. You just said that I did not promote it that much. What I wanted to know was, you've been calling people, telling them you're going to come to that space, you're going to screen. But now, was there any other promotion? I mean, yes, social media, but did you make trailers? Did you make posters? Did you put it up in spaces before you went? You sent them there? Or it was just one call, one piece of information, and you're there?
So mostly it's Facebook. I mean, I'm active on Facebook, and Facebook does do it. But yeah, I had made posters and stuff at certain places because, you know, if you leave a poster this weekend and say a movie is screening next weekend, so people who come for the entire week get to see it the next evening, next Saturday, 7 p.m. There's a screening happening. So this kind of small stuff I did, but I didn't want to spend anything extra. I mean, whatever was free available, I was using those tools. I didn't want to add extra, like anything extra is like cost. So I didn't have a producer to back me at the time, and I was pretty much on my own, and so yeah.
No formal promotion.
No formal promotion. Occasionally media coverage was happening, so that's why I created the Creating and Traveling Cinema, because media likes something to talk about, right? If I do a normal thing, nobody wants to talk about. But if you give them what they want, so I just did this, you know. And now you talk if you feel like, otherwise it's okay, I'll make my movie.
In my case, it is a 2-month-long movement, an organized movement. We give adequate publicity, press release, everything. And we contact people who are interested in this kind of screenings all over Kerala. Actually, they need to support us to arrange venue and audience. Then only we can do the screening. So it is an organized movement. We already have a kind of number that 100 screening we need to do in our mind before starting. And so 2 month continuous agitation, and 2 month people will be waiting, arranging and everything.
And the media is extremely nice, I mean, also in some way, because if you're in a city, Bangalore, anywhere for a week, they do cover it. In some way, like this traveling, something is cinema is here, is back in action, like once upon a time it used to be there. So it comes out there, and they talk about like a small screen events of the day. Those kind of sections you can target free. You don't have to spend much money on these things. I mean, these are typically the.
Do we have time for any more, or how? Okay, the last one.
Hi. What I wanted to ask you, both of you, is that you're traveling. So does it give you more inputs when you travel, meet people for your future, seeds for your stories?
He found a producer.
Yeah, that's one. And future stories you get there. Second question is, since you're having a one-to-one contact with the audience, it's like a drama. After the drama, you get feedback, and you must be getting do you arrange a Q&A after the screenings? And I'll be very happy to know if there are some very touchy feedbacks if you have got, both of you, from the normal, common audience.
Normally they're distant, they don't touch you, so not that touchy. Just kidding, sorry. I mean, yeah, it's always great to meet people, otherwise you don't meet. You're always on Facebook, This is the first time you see human beings after a while. So it's great to see their reactions, and they'll tell you upfront because they just finished seeing the movie and you're standing in front of the end credits. So a lot of them are festival crowd. They've never seen a direct filmmaker. In fact, they look at me and say, "You're the film. You made the film. You sure?" Or you carry the projector along. So I don't look like a filmmaker, right? So yeah. So I mean, it's always good if you're writing and you get characters, you meet people, and basically, if they see your passion, some people also want to invest in the next film. Some of them, because you tell them, "Can you put 2 lakhs and that's it? You can be part of the film, or 1 lakh." So some of them just want to explore, in a low-cost way, understand how the film business works. And I'm the guy to contact if you want to put 1 lakh. Okay.
Yeah, we arrange Q&A after every screening, and people openly react. If they like, they say liked, I liked it. If they didn't like, then that will be the reaction. And actually, it helped us to move for these 100 screenings because they connect. Okay, you screen the film here, and I will connect you this person. He is interested there. And it is a kind of network growing. That is the main thing we achieved. Apart from this monetary part, there is a network we developed in Kerala.
Great. Well, I think that's all we have time for. Thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you. It's been a great session, and yeah, hope you guys can keep the show on the road.